Welcome, this is Mr. Doyle from the Gaucho Library at El Capitan High School, and this video is going to go over some of the basic functions of Google Drive and Google Docs, and we're going to go over creating a document and sharing that document. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get to my drive. So I can go to google.com and log in, or go to Gmail and log in. If I'm in any of the Google apps, all I have to do is look for this black navigation bar and click Drive, and that'll take me to my Google Drive. You can also just type in the address bar here drive.google.com, and that will take you to the same place. So the first thing I want to do is create a document. So the first time you access your drive, it should look like this. There's nothing in there. You're going to click on the red Create button, and you're going to choose the type of document. I use the word document when document's very specific in Google. It's word processing, but we also use it to refer to presentations, spreadsheets, forms, things like that. Document is the one you're going to use the most. So we're going to create a word processing document. So I'm going to click on that. And the first thing you'll notice, or you should notice, is that when you create documents, they automatically come up as untitled. And this is not a good thing, because if you forget to put a title in, you're going to end up with a lot of untitled documents and you won't know what's what. So you want to practice. A good standard practice is you create your document and you title it. So I'm going to click on Untitled Document up here, and it's going to open the Rename Document box. And I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to give it a name that will help me understand what's in it when I look at it at a later date. And you're going to be using Google Drive for your entire high school career, so you want to think long term. So not am I going to remember what this document is next week, am I going to remember what this document is my senior year when I'm building my exit portfolio. So just putting research paper isn't going to cut it. I have to be a lot more specific. So I'm going to call this Romeo and Juliet Research. And then I'm going to click OK, and you'll notice that Untitled Document is gone, and now this is the name of the document. You'll also notice that I don't ever have to click Save when I'm working on these documents. Up here it tells you that all changes are saved in Drive. This happens with every keystroke I take. So if I start typing, and when you do a research paper, you're never going to type intro for your intro. You'll type the content, but you'll notice that it took about a second for it to save what I had typed. That way you don't have to worry about your computer crashing, the electricity going out, the internet going down. Your document is saved as you type it. So no more lost documents, no more excuses to your teacher that the file got lost. It won't get lost in Google Drive. Okay, so that's a basic document creation. Now, really the most powerful thing about Google Docs, Google Drive, is the ability to share documents. So if I'm doing my Romeo and Juliet research in a group with 3 or 4 people, we don't want to create 3 different documents and then try to merge them later on, because that gets very messy. In Google Drive, I can share a document with other people. We can have one document and we can all work on it together. We don't need to be in the same room. We don't even need to be in the same country. All we need to do is log into our Google accounts and we can work together. There are actually 3 or 4 different ways to share a document in Google Docs. The easiest way is when you have a document open, you click on this blue share button up at the top, and when I hover over it, you see it says private only to me. That means I'm the only one who can do anything with this document. If I click the button, it gives me the share settings dialog box. And you'll see right here it says private, only the people listed below can access, and that's what most of your documents are going to be set up as. So if I want to add someone from my group, I would put their email address in the invite people box. So you need to put in their entire MUHSD address. So I'm going to put in my teacher address here. So if it's a teacher, you're going to put in their first initial last name at muhsd.org. If it's a student, you're going to put first initial last name ID number at muhsdstudents.org. Next to this box where you're putting in the email addresses, there's a little drop down here which defaults to can edit. That means they can go in and do everything on the document that you can do as the owner. So if I click on that, if I just want someone to be able to view it and not necessarily do any writing or changing, I would click Can View. When you're inviting teachers to a document you're sharing with them, you always want to leave it to Can Edit unless they tell you otherwise. And so I would just go ahead and put in as many addresses as I need to. Once I've got all the addresses in, you'll notice that it says notify people via email, and by default that is checked. I can personalize the message or add some extra information. Okay, so I can add a message in there, and then I click share and save. And then it'll show me who else is listed under the private, who else has access to the document, and then I just click done. Okay, now that document can be accessed by both of us at the same time. Another way to share a document is from within the drive itself. So here's my Romeo and Juliet research paper. I don't need to necessarily open that up to share it. I can just click the checkbox here, and then there's a share button right here, and that works exactly the same way. So I would click, I can enter addresses here and share it, and then click done when I'm finished with that. So that's a second way to share a document. Once you're in a document and you're working together, sometimes students have a tendency to get silly or type inappropriate things in a document. You need to be aware that if you share with a teacher, they can always see the revision history. And when they bring up the revision history, it will show them exactly what was done and who did it, and they can go back to previous versions. So you don't want to write anything inappropriate here, even if you're going to erase it, just to be funny. You want to make sure you're always professional when you're using the Google Apps for Education in our district. You have to remember that these are owned by the district and they can see anything that you do. So again, be professional. Okay, a third way to share documents. If you're going to be sharing a lot of documents with one person or with a group, instead of sharing each individual document, what you can do is share a folder. So right now I don't have any folders in my drive. I'm going to create a folder, and I am going to call this my 20% project folder, and I'm going to create it. And now within Drive I'm going to put the check mark next to it, and I'm going to share it. And again, you would do it just like we did with the document. So, and if I've shared with them before, all I have to do is start typing the first couple of letters and it comes up. And so I share and save that with them. And now you'll see on the folder there's actually, if you look really closely, there's like a little person icon on there. Anything I put in that folder will automatically be shared with everyone who has rights to the folder. So that's a quick way, if my 20% project is going to involve word processing and presentations and spreadsheets and drawings and things like that, I can just create the one folder, share that, and then just drop documents into the folder. Okay. So we're going to go over one more way to share a document, and I can do this from within Drive or within the document itself. When I go to the share settings where it says private, only the people listed below can access, if I click change, I get what's called the visibility options. And the visibility options allow me to share with bigger groups of people much more quickly. The first one is public on the web. I don't recommend that for most student work. There are some legal privacy issues with your work that don't apply to adults, so you're probably not going to use this one more than once or twice in your 4 years. When you do that, then your document becomes searchable in Google, and anyone can look it up. If I were to click that, right now it's set to Can View, so people could find my document, they couldn't do anything to it. If you set it to anyone with the link, I have to actually send them the internet address to this document for them to find it. It won't be searchable, but it's still wide open. So if I were going to do a project with, say, some students and researchers at UC Merced, and not all of them had Google accounts, then I could use that and I could just send them the link to their Yahoo Mail or their Hotmail, whatever they're using, and they would be able to access the document. If I choose MUHSD.K12, that means people in the district can search for it and find it. And again, right now it's just set to view. I can change that to can edit. So if we were going to do work with groups over in other schools, say in Atwater or Livingston, we could make it searchable to students at that school. Same thing with people at MUHSD with the link. I can click that, and then only the people I send the link to can find the document. So let's choose that one, and I choose Save, and the link I would share is right up here. And so I can right-click on that link and copy it, and then I can email it to people. I can post it on my website, and it would still be restricted to people with MUHSD Gmail accounts being able to access it. So that's about it. There are a couple other ways to share, but we won't get into those today. That is enough for right now. If you have any questions, come see me in the library.